All right, we're going live now.
Okay.
And here we are. We are live on Facebook, running just a few minutes late. Sometimes it's challenging to get all of the right pieces in the right places, but here we are.
We're just a little busy. We're just a tad busy, Saul.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I'm trying to share this out to everyone. So, how have you been while I share this out?
I am good. There is a lot going on. I'm making a lot of noise here. Let me pull my microphone back there. That should be a lot better.
Yeah,
Um,
your audio's down a little bit now.
yeah, but that should be all right.
Okay,
That should be all right. Um,
that's good.
so everything is moving forward. We are getting closer and closer and closer to our paranormal weekend, and I am getting really excited about that. I can't wait. Really, I really just cannot wait to be with people in person. It's getting more and more real every day.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm trying to share this out. Um,
It's
I was
like
looking at my to do.
I'm
I was
sorry,
looking
go
at my
ahead.
to do list yesterday, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's about to happen! I'm running out of time to get stuff done."
Absolutely. I feel like that kid that's getting their trip to Disney World and the clock's just
Correct.
ticking down.
Exactly.
um,
So fun. I can't wait. Yeah, love. We got to finalize stuff. The last day to purchase tickets is Monday. Is Monday. So um, we got the paranormal weekend going on this weekend in San Antonio. I got a lot of people that we are going to connect with that I have to say hi to, that we're gonna like hug from a distance kind of thing. We're gonna be having a booth up there selling tickets. So the last day that you can purchase tickets is on Monday, right? Because we need to finalize the numbers, how many people that we need to purchase food for, purchase the tours for, get everything settled in, get everybody signed their accommodations, their sleeping quarters. So we have to have final payments in by Monday. Can you believe it, Saul? We worked
yeah.
our butts off for
Yeah,
this.
please jump on it. Please jump on it. I would hate for you to miss it uh, by a technicality there. We got
Mhm.
Elizabeth here, and MJ and Cecilia are all here checking in with us, and we appreciate you joining us live. Also, as we go along, we do ask people to punch things into the comments there. And if you are watching this later on, you can just hashtag replay on that, and we'll know that was a comment that came in later. We won't be able to address later comments live on the video because you weren't here. But we will certainly try to address in the comments anything that we can if you come in late. So you still get to play, and we hope that you do play. So thanks to everyone here. And of course, as we're talking along, if you have questions about anything, um, please feel free to address those, put those in there, and we'll try and talk about those live as we go along.
Right. That's the benefit of being live, right? We get to answer your questions live on the podcast. So
Indeed.
super excited. Awesome. So what are we talking about today, Saul? What is
Well, one
going
of the
on?
things that is coming up, I had a really interesting weekend in Dallas where I got
Oh,
to talk with a number of practitioners and performance artists who are all interested in ghosts and seance and that sort of thing. And I got to play with some tools that I hadn't necessarily worked with before that I knew about, but hadn't necessarily played with before. And I may see if I can construct a thing or two. One was a pendulum bottle, which I'd never worked with, and
I was
that
gonna make
is
one of those. I was gonna make
fascinating.
one of
So
those.
I'm probably going
Yeah.
to try and manufacture a few of those in the intervening time. And also, there was a technique that goes back to uh, early spiritualist days, which is a candle um, underneath a red globe. And
Mhm.
when practicing mediumship, when connecting in that red light, it would highlight changes in people's faces that is not visible in the dark
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
not necessarily as obvious in the light. That red light just really seems to connect with the right part of our brains for that. And I did get to experience that. And
Nice.
working with candles is a little tricky in that it's got to be done just right. The way that it was typically done was using these gorgeous Italian lanterns that I doubt I'm going to be able to get hold of in a week or so. But this gentleman, he used some electronic candles, and he had some that were nice and bright and worked well for that. So I'm going to do a little bit of a quest, and if I can arrange some of that, we'll make use of that when we get into the seance portion of what we're doing over the weekend.
Yeah, it's funny that you just mentioned those two things because it's funny how synchronicities start to line up when like-minded people come together. So I'm amazed and really curious to see what spirits come together when all of us raise energy in that room.
Sure.
But I was looking at a pendulum bottle making a pendulum bottle 2 days ago, and I wanted to make it out of amethyst. So that's the crystal out of amethyst.
Mm-hmm.
You can do clear quartz too, but I'm really drawn to the stone amethyst for spiritual communication and connection. And today I just bought for the seance for the seance. Can you tell that we are really tired? So
I've been on
so
the
much.
run for a couple of weeks now, almost
Oh
solid.
yeah, it's been crazy. I just got some vintage candle holders that I'm going to be bringing to the seance and to the event. So everybody at their table will have their own candle. And it is vintage, so they are brass, which is a good conductor of energy. Also, I wish they were more copper, but we can bring in some copper wands if we need to. But so I'm really intrigued to do candle spiritual seances and connection with the spirits that way. So we are bringing in just very special items just for this event that no one has ever seen us work with. We are breaking out a lot of things that we have found in our practice that no one has ever seen, no one touched, no one has ever experienced before, all for this event. So it's not going to be your run of the mill stuff. So see how minds are starting to work together. The
Indeed.
synchronicities are starting to come together.
Indeed. And I'm going to have to take on the burden of emptying a few bottles of wine uh, over the next week or so to prepare for this. It's a hardship
Aw,
I'm willing to endure for you.
sucks to be you. All right. It's such a sad thing. The good thing about Bartlett, though, is that across the street there is a liquor store. So
There is.
you take out your spirits and another spirits,
There
right?
you go.
Spirits.
There you go. Um, the candle technique is something that I've worked with in various capacities. I love it as a technique. It is something that really doesn't require anything except openness to it.
Right.
And I like it in situations. So, you know my background that I got involved in all this to prove it wasn't true. And so I bring with myself a certain level of skepticism that is inherent and it's challenging for me because my doubts will sometimes turn toward myself. I'm very, very concerned about bringing my own bias into something or bringing my own, uh, um, just my own imagination into something and not being pure. And the candle approach is something that helps keep me in check when I feel it's an area where I may not be uh, where I feel like I need to let go further of a situation. And the technique that I use is with a I like to use a taper candle. The dogs say hello. Our neighbor's dogs say hello. I don't know if you can hear that.
Yeah, we
Uh,
hear it. It's the hounds of hell they want to go to.
that's right. But I like to use a taper candle for this. Let it burn down just a little bit so it builds a little of its own character. And then we ask the candle to show us yes, and the candle will do something. It always does. And then we ask the candle to show us no, and it will do something else. And it always does. And it uh, then let people ask questions, and that keeps me disconnected from it. If I feel that people need to be involved in their own questions and answers, then I'm removed from it. I help facilitate at that point, but I'm removed from interpreting the answers. And I remember the most recent séance that I did. It was kind of an intense situation. It was a couple of kids who had been orphaned, and they were living with their aunt, and they were looking for some levels of closure on some items. And to me, this was an area where I needed to tread very, very carefully. I needed to be very careful. And so I had a number of tools we were going to have available, but the one we ended up working with was that candle. And the
Yeah,
most profound moment was when a young lady asked the spirits of her parents, once they'd made themselves known, asked the spirits of her parents whether they were proud of her, and the candle said yes.
yeah.
I mean, it was not
Flickers.
ambiguous. It was a very obvious yes, and it was exaggerated. The candle went crazy at that point in that yes gesture, and obviously that was a very big deal to the young lady asking the question. I mean, that was something that she needed. And when you get into that, for those that are skeptical, for those that are worried that maybe I'm making something happen or anything like that, when that candle did that, that to me was a profound demonstration of spirits answering, um, and it was just beautiful. Um, do you use candles in a similar way, or do you have a different technique?
No, it's the same way. I do
Okay,
candle magic and I'll not candle magic. Well, I do candle magic, but for
that's good.
seances, it's pretty much the same technique. I will ask it to show me yes, and then the candle will flicker or it will move back and forth, or it'll dance or something like that. Or if I say no, show me no, and then it's almost like the pendulum, right? It'll
Okay,
answer you just like that. But I love the combination of candles and spiritual work and fire.
indeed.
I Some people use pendulums. We're gonna bring everything. We're gonna
Oh
bring
yeah.
all of our witchy tools and pendulums, but I love fires. I love fire scrying. I love candle flame divination. I love it when spirits can move that flame back and forth, or they can, flicker it really strong, and you have a really strong burning flame. When you see it dim, and it's just a little flicker, and then you say, "Can you show me the flame? Can you make the flame brighter if you are here?" And all of a sudden, this flame is like, whoo, and it's huge. I mean, that's proof right there that the spirit is in the room and ready to communicate. This is what we call evidential, paranormal or evidential mediumship.
Right.
Not the kind where you just stand in front of a gallery or on stage and where you say, "Hey, there's someone on the left hand side that I feel that there's a male, strong male that's passed over." We are showing you evidential stuff, evidential spirit communication that you can see, feel, touch, hear, sense all of your surroundings instead of just taking our word that, "Hey, there's someone on your left shoulder that's passed over," right?
Elizabeth is offering to help with the wine bottles. We just need clear wine bottles, Elizabeth. So not the darkened ones. So go for your Chardonnays and that sort of thing. And Uh, we just need clear bottles. So appreciate any help with that. Although, like I said, I'm willing to do what it takes. Um, here is um, here is an example of the pendulums that I will be bringing. These are the wooden pendulums that we've talked about. And I use these when I teach classes on pendulums. So I've got, gosh, I think I've got about 20 of them here. And they are made out of wood. They're very, very earthy, very inert. So they don't bring their own energy with them. They don't really store energy, which for me, as I'm doing classes, that's important for me. Because if you use crystal pendulums, you're passing them around. You really only get to do that class once a month or so. I mean,
Yep.
there are ways to cleanse them, but if you really want to do it right, they need to pass through a moon cycle there. And I may be doing a workshop more than once a day. And I find that these wooden pendulums are just so earthy, so naturally grounded. And that is ideal for what we're trying to do. That way, after the class, I'm able to do just very light cleansing of them. And they do very, very well for that. So we're going to have these available for you. I'll bring the whole box. If you have your own pendulum, you're certainly welcome to do that, to bring that. If you feel like your own pendulum is a little too personal, or you're concerned about maybe rubbing some of the spirit energy onto it, that can be a valid concern. It depends on what you do with your pendulum and what you're used to with your pendulum. Sometimes you don't want to you only use the good silver for hot dogs, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it's the same kind of a thing. If you do have a pendulum, encourage you to bring it. If for whatever reason you're not feeling good about that, then we will have these earthy ones for you to use. Now I don't have it on me because I changed my shirt just before I came out here. But you've seen the necklace that I tend to wear, which is a crystal
Dragons.
ball grasping a raven's claw. That is the pendulum that I use the most for everything. It's nice and heavy, very, very responsive, very personal to me. And I have my own methods for making sure that it's reliable in different circumstances and that it's cleansed in different circumstances. So you'll certainly see that. Um, but if you have a necklace that you like, um, a ring, that feels good. I mean, it's a weight on a string, a weight on a chain is all it is. And you can make one with a piece of kite string and a paper clip, and that'll work just fine.
Yeah, we encourage everyone to bring their magical tools with them or the divination tools because we want you to start imprinting the energy on how your divination tools respond to spirit communication. So we want you to feel what the energy feels like when you're working with dowsing rods or tarot or pendulum or candle. We want you to start learning how spirits use those tools, and these are what we call organic tools. We'll have some EVPs, we'll have some, we'll show you how to do the electronic kind of um, paranormal investigations. But we want you to really use the energy of organic tools. So that way you are fully in the experience and you don't have your face in your phone looking at your electronics and you're missing about what's going on around you. So please bring your pendulum, your tarot cards, your Ouija boards, your dowsing rods. What else do we? Our candles. What else do we use?
Well,
Anything
we
else?
use what's at hand. I think one of the most powerful and important aspects of this that is something that is challenging for people. And it is that sort of skepticism that is important. You should be skeptical when you're entering into these things. If you believe everything that you encounter with no question, then well, did you know that gullible is not in the dictionary?
Gullible is not in the
It's
dictionary.
not in the dictionary. Isn't that
Okay.
weird? All right. Yes, it is. Let me look that up. Um, no, that's and I think intuition is one of those areas that takes a while for people to get used to. And I don't know what it's like for me, but even though I have become much more open to my intuition in spirit connection, I still have my moments of doubt. I still have my moments where I go, is that really a connection, or is that really coming from that television show I watched last night? Uh, and learning to discern where that's coming from is challenging. And I think that people who have not been using their intuition probably have a better handle on it that they know, but they're nervous about it. And that's where being here with other people is going to be helpful. We're going to encourage people to be fully open to what their intuition is giving them. And even if what comes to you seems crazy or irrelevant, we're going to try and get you used to at least considering it, bringing it out there, and connecting with spirits is like brainstorming. Have you ever done a brainstorming session, a proper corporate brainstorming session?
Yeah.
It's real hard to get everybody doing it correctly, but in a proper brainstorming session, there are no bad ideas. There are no silly ideas. There are no wrong statements. Whatever comes out, and it goes on the board.
That
And
collective energy, right, that we're talking about.
right. And
Mhm.
and so if I say, hey, I want to do our next event in New Orleans, it just goes on the board, right? You don't go, yeah, but New Orleans is having power issues right now, and I don't know if we'll be able to. I don't know. No, 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 no. We don't have that conversation right now. That conversation comes later. The idea is get the ideas on the board, and then we look at what we got. And it is the same thing when you're doing spirit connection. Any feeling, any smell, sensation, sound, thought, movement of what you're working with, meaning that jumps out to you to what the cards say in front of you. Everything goes on the board.
Mhm.
Everything comes out and everything is considered. And then later on, when we go back through what we've got, we start to see what fits and what may have come from someplace else. But the idea is to get used to just letting go, and whatever happens happens, whatever comes, and you open up to it completely. And I would say that is, at least for myself and for a lot of people that I know, that is the biggest difference between someone who is a very comfortable, confident medium and someone who goes, I kind
Yeah.
of,
It's playing away.
yeah, I kind of connect maybe, but I'm not really good at it
Yeah,
because we're all good at it.
we're gonna show you guys how to do a lot of this. Another thing that I was on a big paranormal panel last weekend, and we talked about one of the people that was the question that they polled us was, are you a believer or are you a skeptic? And all of us, and there's probably 10 of us on that panel, we all had a healthy dose of skeptic in us, but we were believers also.
Right.
But we're going to teach everybody how to really, what I call, get away from your imposter syndrome. Because a lot of people will say, how do I know I could do this? How do I know if I'm a medium? I'm questioning my abilities as, this voice that I'm hearing, is it really a voice? Did it really happen? Am I just imagining things? So we're going to work on, releasing what I call the imposter syndrome, where you can actually get evidence and you can actually write down what has been coming through for you during a session. And then everybody can say, yeah, that came through for me too. That did too. I was smelling that. Did anybody else smell that? It's about collaboration, and it's about evidence, and it's about coming together with like-minded people. I absolutely love automatic writing when you're
Oh
doing
yeah.
seances.
Yes,
And
me as well.
everybody is going to get a pen and a piece of paper doing our seance or doing it, we're going to have more than one time to connect with spirits. It's just not going to be one seance. I mean, we've got tours, we've got so much things and buildings and haunted locations and cemeteries, tours that you have an opportunity to do paranormal investigation, not just during the seance. You have an entire weekend of opportunities to connect to the other side. So we're going to show you how to do automatic writing, which a lot of people don't know how to do. A lot of people don't know how to do what I call basic trance work. And then ask for the spirits to come in, and then you write answers down or messages. And so it's a class, and also it's a 3-day workshop of spirit communication. You're going to come out of this weekend wanting to communicate with all kinds of spirits everywhere, all the time. All the time. And you're going to want to get your pendulum out. You're going to want to walk in your backyard with your dowsing rods. You're going to want to say, who is here with me? So it's going to be really a jumping off point to you becoming this powerful medium and working with spirits.
Well, I think that's the most fun part. I think there's some kinds of events that you go to that you walk out of there with a lot of expensive gear that you're going to pay off over time. And what I love about this is people are going to walk out of here with things that they can just that they've already got in their house, or that are easily obtainable, inexpensively obtainable, dollar store mediumship.
Yeah.
And I think that that's terrific. But you have to stop thinking about it. You have to stop wondering. You have to go ahead and jump on it and put your name in it. This is limited to a few people, and it's not like some things where you can go, well, let me see how I feel Thursday night. No, you got to jump on it. You've got to commit, and it will be worth it. I promise.
Sky's
So
coming. Sky said, I'm excited. I'm extremely excited to feel the energy each day as we get closer. I know. I love it. Sky's going to be there. So Sky's a very powerful. He's one of my students. So he is extremely powerful in his abilities. And this is why we put this together also, is because we want you guys to make friendships and connections from people of all different walks of life and experiences and faiths. So you guys can come together and learn from each other,
yeah,
not just us.
you shouldn't think about this like it's your Disney World itinerary. This is going to be more like a slumber party.
Yeah.
And we may not get so much in the way of quality sleep over the weekend because we're going to spend time talking to each other. We're going to spend time interacting. We have things that are going to go on at certain times, but there is no kind of lights out protocol or anything like
No,
that.
nothing.
And what I expect is that we're going to get excited about all this, and we're just gonna connect, and we're gonna what if each other. And when we get to what is the culmination where we do the main seance work together, like you said, we'll be doing seance work on some level throughout the whole weekend from the very beginning on the tours and all that. But what I am looking forward to is people just growing into that moment as a group, learning from each other, and then Sunday morning talking about what we reflected on, what followed us into
Right.
our dreams, what
Right.
what are we
Teamwork.
taking forward.
Right.
It's just so wonderful.
The thing that is unique about this, well, there's a lot of things that are unique about this, but we're going to teach you how to cleanse, how to consecrate, how to clean your magical tools, how to do rituals, how to protect yourself, how to do graveyard workings, how to enter, exit a graveyard respectfully. But not only that, but we have pretty much the entire town of Bartlett because it's so small. I feel that these people and spirits know that something is about to happen. So if it is we're sitting around at 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and one of the practitioners is just, or the clients are just like, you know what? I want to go walk down this building, down this street. It is so small that we have everything in walking distance. It is so small that you can be like, yeah, Sky, let's go down there. Let's go check. Let's go pull some cars. Let's gather our pendulums, our dowsing rods. Let's stand in front of this building that I felt so connected to, and let's see what comes up. So even though we have schedules, we actually encourage you to explore the city paranormal outside of the schedule, as long as you know where you're at. Right? So it's about exploring Bartlett. Bartlett has a fascinating history. And I was working at Nature's Treasures, and I was talking to one of my clients that come in. I said, we have this paranormal weekend in Bartlett. She's like, oh, I know Bartlett. And I was like, you know Bartlett? She was like, yeah. Her niece is illustrating, you'll like this, Saul. Her niece is illustrating, Jennifer, our tour guide and the owner of the Airbnb, is illustrating her children's book.
Oh,
And
how wonderful.
I don't know if you remember that when we were on the tour with her behind the scenes, and we were going to the jail, she was talking about how she's coming out with a children's book for Bartlett. And so it's all these things, synchronicities are starting to come together to support us. And we're going to open up your third eye to connect not only with spirits, but synchronicities. It's like, for example, when we are doing a seance, you will hear the shift in energy, as far as you will hear creatures coming out, woodland creatures, dogs barking. You will see omens, like sometimes you'll hear a bat. I was at the paranormal video thing or panel a couple of nights ago, and a bat flew right into my window. And I was like, well, if that's not a sign. We get you opened up to all of these synchronicities, and you'll find feathers or you'll see numbers. We are trying to open up your third eye and pull back the veil so you can work with spirit communications and work deeper in your subconscious so you can connect with it. And this is what we're going to put a bubble around Bartlett when we come in there, and we are going to call in these spirits. So it's going to be a very magical working, but we are going to make it so the muggles don't see what we're doing. We have that magical cloak around that whole Bartlett for that weekend. So they'll see us, but they won't know what we're doing.
Right.
So it's going to be, it's going to be like an invisible magical cloak bubble for us to do our magic together.
But you got to be there in order to experience all this. We're not going to be live streaming this or anything like that.
Nope.
There may be some
Nope.
notes that come out of it that we share, some experiences that we share, but this is a real thing that's going on. This is not reality television or anything like that. We are going to go and we're going to make this happen. You got to go here right now and make that commitment, or you're going to miss it. And we've got several people in the chat who have already jumped in, and we're looking forward to see them. We want you to meet them in person. We want you to be there with us, and we want you to help us build this foundation. This won't be the last one we do, but this is a really important one. So
Yeah. Do you
don't
have that link?
don't wait.
Do you have that link, Saul, that you can drop in the comments?
Yeah, I do. Give me just a moment.
So while you grab that, I want to piggyback off what you just said. This is our flagship event. You will always look back, and you will look back and you'll say, I remember the very weekend, the very event that I went to that catapulted my mediumship skills to be the powerful medium and spirit communicator that I am today. This is that event. This is your life-changing event. This is our flagship event. This is almost like a jumping off point to where we're going to be and how this runs in the future. Okay. So this, you get to be on the very first epic paranormal weekend. This, how many people could say they're on the very first one? Oh yeah, the fifth one. I was on the sixth one. It's not as magical as the very first one. We're setting energy. We're setting the stage. We are setting the bar high, and everybody is going to want to join in. And you're going, oh yeah, I remember when I was with Saul and Madam Z on their very first event. I remember that. It was, this is the event that we want to create for you guys to start your communication with your mediumship. What it's truly about, not what you see on TV. Forget what you see on TV. The whole thing we were talking about, that paranormal panel, is it's so deceiving because Zach Baggins or the Paranormal Files or whatever it is, it looks like they spend 30 minutes and they get all these EVPs, and that's not it at all. You'll spend weeks at a paranormal haunting or at a person's house trying to gather this information. It doesn't happen right away. It happens in stillness. And that's what we're going to teach you, is that you need to experience this yourself and not what is on TV, because what's on TV is not reality at all. We want you to experience it in real life.
I also think it's important to mention that this is not about being a pro. This is not about being someone who has been witchy all their lives. If you feel drawn toward this, there is a reason for that. And whether you feel like you have powers or not, it does not matter. Whether you feel like you want to make this the center of your world, or you just want to bring it into your world and have it as a connection that you can draw on, something that you're able to inform yourself about and experience as you go about doing what it is that you already love to do. This is for everybody. So whether you're already a practitioner, you've been thinking about it, you're curious, you're skeptical even. This will give you a chance to experience this in your own way, and take some of it home with you in whatever way makes sense. And we are going to be, Madam Z and I are pretty no bullshit when it comes to inclusiveness, and we are not going to have an environment where there's going to be any level of bullying or competition or anything like that. This is about everybody exploring together, and that is just going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. One of the I was talking about, and totally slipped my mind, about paranormal investigation in Bartlett. Anyways, it'll come back to me, but it's really just about experiencing the paranormal yourself and how we can teach you to feel into that and don't be afraid. Because a lot of times, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I feel something. I'm going to shut the door. I'm going to, shut it off. I'm going to close it. It freaks me out. We're going to gently push you through that liminal space, through that door. And you're going to be supported by tons of people that have the same kind of fears about, oh, I remember when I first saw my first ghost, or when my grandmother came to me and it freaked me out. You're going to have the people that have the same experiences, but you're going to be supported with other practitioners and like-minded people to encourage you to not be afraid, to embrace it, to feel into that. And then when you come out on the other side, it's not going to be as scary as you think it was.
You are not going to drink from the fire hose.
No, you're not going to burn in hell. You're not going to be possessed. Um, so you're going to walk away with a lot of tools that you can take away from that weekend that you can start incorporating into your own practice. So this is no fluffy bunny bullshit. This is real life, practical magic, protection, and tools, workshops that we're going to encourage you to do to learn. And nothing is really off the limits here. Nothing is, if you want to talk about weird stuff, what you experience, please. This, it's like Mr. We Are the Weirdos, right? We want to talk about all this stuff that you haven't had a chance to talk about or you don't feel supported enough to talk about. This is that place, and we're providing that for you.
Right. That soiree is going to be filled with stories and questions and all that. And again, it's not going to be a competition. It's not going to be who has the biggest story. Um, but hopefully you'll you'll be open as you get into this, and if you don't have a story to bring to the table, you'll have one to take away.
Right. The cool thing about this, and this is what it reminded me because I had lost my train of thought before, is that we are for Bartlett, Texas has tons of history. I mean, even the graveyard is segregated, so we're going to have tons of stories about that. This
Hmm.
is about bringing that history back to life, preserving those spirits that want to communicate, and really just spending the weekend getting to know the town people as far as the founders, what happened, who built that town, how did that, the bootlegging, the murders, the bank robbers, the people. We are going to bring that history of Bartlett to life, and we are going to invite them in for spiritual communications. And we get to ask them questions. So not only do you get to experience, spiritual communication, but you get to actually speak to spirits who have the connection of a specific event in that town. I know Jennifer, the one who owns the Airbnb and also is going to be doing our Bartlett Secret Tour, has opened up a lot of places for us, hidden gems that she has not shown anybody else. So this is your first time seeing a lot of these behind the scenes stuff and locations that she hasn't even opened up to anybody else for us. She's going to do that for us. So we're excited about it. So sometimes that means that this will be the first time that spirits actually get to communicate with people on this side of the veil, because we're the first ones through their space in 100 years.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, we could easily talk about this, but time for talk is done.
Yeah.
Go get it. Go get it and join us for this. We're gonna have one more cauldron chat with you before this begins. It probably won't be. Oh, nice. Uh, it probably won't be the last cauldron chat that we do, but it's the last one before the event. And we'd like to be able to welcome all the folks that are coming. Those of you who have already purchased, we need to make sure that you're a part of our Facebook group for that, and we'll start talking to you about things that you need to prepare and consider as you pack and you come join us. But please don't hesitate. Don't miss it. I want you there. So go to paranormalseance.com and get it done.
Your
Commit.
tickets. We only have 10 spots left. And like I said, we are doing a big paranormal weekend in San Antonio. And our main goal, we have a booth there. Our main goal is to sell these last 10 tickets so we can get more people into the community. And once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah,
So get on it before the deadline is Monday. The deadline is Monday to
please
get
do.
to pay to get your payment in.
Well, thank you for joining us. Don't forget, if you put comments in there watching the replay, put a hashtag replay so we can help spot those, and we'll respond to you in the comments in ways we couldn't do live. And we will see you next Tuesday. If you're in the San Antonio area and you can come out to the Black Swan Inn for their paranormal event, we'll have a booth there. I'll have some of my spiritualist artifacts and weird stuff there. We'll be signing people up there. And we'll see you soon. I'm so excited. I can't say.
We've been working hard, so the spirits I know are shifting, so I know they're gonna welcome us in. So be part of it. Be a part of this.
Indeed. We will see you soon.
All right, everyone, which on?
Which on?